Okay, something illegal went on here. It's mostly women. They were young. They were not legal age. Ooh, this place is making me really uneasy.
My name is Alex Dixon, and I'm on a mission to connect with the sisterhood of the past. With a team of mediums, psychics, and ghost hunters, I am reaching out to see if these spirits have any advice for women in the modern age. Today, I'm going to find out what's up with the sister ghosts of the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire. Sarah and Rosie Brenman were sisters who immigrated to the United States for a better life, but instead were among the 146 killed in the 1911 Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. It is rumored they are still haunting the site of this historic tragedy, which is now home to NYU's Brown Building of Science. Members of the Brenman family made their way to New York while the city grew into the garment capital of the world. To make ends meet, Sarah and Rosie lived in the East Village and worked alongside hundreds of other immigrants in the hugely profitable factory of the Triangle Shirtwaist Company. They endured long hours and deplorable and unsafe work conditions. Triangle's owners perpetually refused to institute fire safety protocols, despite multiple strikes and walkouts. In 1911, the factory ignited into flames, and the sisters were killed after being trapped inside with the fire and smoke. In an effort to learn more about the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire, I'm meeting with a New York City tour guide.
This whole area was all garment factories. So here we are at the site of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory. On March 25th, 1911, at 4:40 p.m., it's thought that a spark from maybe a match got dropped in a scrap pile, and a fire started. If you think about, a space that didn't have very good ventilation and had months and months worth of fabric scraps, it was basically a tinderbox.
And the stairways were made of wood.
And the stairways were made of wood, and a lot of the women were trapped. And I say women because it was 146 people perished. 123 of them were women.
Wow.
And they died in various really gruesome ways. And it is also very haunted.
If this building is as haunted as Liana suggests, perhaps Sarah and Rosie are still here. If I want to connect, I probably have to get inside. And I'm not going in alone. Meet Jerome.
Hi, Jerome.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I'm Alex. Nice to meet you.
Jerome is the grandson of Joseph Brenman, a survivor of the factory fire and the brother of Sarah and Rosie. Joseph also worked at the factory, but managed to escape, sadly without his sisters. Today, Jerome and I are joining Marina, a psychic medium at the site of the fire, to see if we can connect with his aunts.
I am mostly clairaudient. I will hear things. Sometimes it's a word, sometimes it's a sentence. There is residual energy that remains in the space. As a first observation, when I got into this building, something in its foundations still retains whatever misery there was. Who's Isaac? There's somebody named he didn't die here, but I almost feel like his presence, he's responsible. Okay.
Isaac Harris was one of the owners of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory.
Did people jump? Okay, what was locked? Something was locked. Were they locked inside?
Yes.
Ooh, this place is making me really uneasy. It's mostly women. They were young. They were not legal age.
Labor laws were changed. Building and fire codes were installed. The saddest part of this whole thing is that the owners, they were given a slap on the wrist, a $10 fine. My grandfather, who survived, was one of the male employees, and he had two sisters, both of whom perished in the fire. He couldn't find his sisters.
Did you know your grandfather?
Oh, yeah. It was very hard for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he cried almost every day. It would be nice to know that my aunts were at peace.
There is no pain on the other side, so that's a good thing. And also, life after life is easier. There's nobody throwing curveballs at us at every step of the way like we get here in this life.
I'm relieved to hear that the spirits of Sarah and Rosie are at peace, but I still wonder, are they aware of the significance of their deaths? Jerome told me they were buried on Staten Island and gave me and my friend Ilka permission to visit their joint plot. So you've already been speaking with Sarah and Rosie?
Yeah, they've pretty much been with us since we arrived. They've been here. Right. They did show me how they died, and it was fairly gruesome.
Were they in the factory when they died, or were they able to move and die?
No, I'm hearing they were in there.
Okay.
It is really important, though. They are pointing to pieces of paper with like rules and stuff on it. So I do think that this is a reference to the codes. We didn't die in vain. Like, we died in a way that was really brutal and really horrible, but like it created change.
Can they tell us at all about any of their siblings?
So I'm getting, was there a brother?
Yeah.
And hold on, let me just send him a quick healing because he carried a lot of guilt around it. This is rough. But he didn't know which of the bodies could have been his sister's. That is what I'm getting on that. And I think, yeah, and that haunted him for the rest of his life.
Do Sarah and Rosie realize that they were kind of the foundation of so much progress, and they do know that?
Yeah, they're like, hell yeah, we do. Like, they're just like, we didn't go out in vain. It really is like, we didn't die for nothing. These two really do tend to revisit and sort of see what those living have learned.
The American dream turned into a nightmare for Sarah and Rosie Brenman. And though they were torn from their family and their futures too soon, their legacy lives on through lineage and legislation, protecting the workforce and American dreams to come.